flip natin yung situation. What if you think you're great at something,
Yeah.
and then apparently you're not, or other people think you're not? Paano naman natin handle yung mga ganun?
Ooh. Well, yeah, I think one way or another, um, I have this belief that one way or another, they are going to um, they are going to know if they're open to feedback. So I think that's why attitude really is important at the beginning, and valuing other people's perspectives is really important. If you don't value other people's perspectives and just live in yourself and just be that self-assured that you're great, even though results say you're not, even though tests say you're not, even though um, student feedback say you're not, or you need more effort in this, need more work on this part, you need to improve this thing. Um, yeah, I think but that's also unfortunate that some people, on the flip side also, some people tend to do things for validation from others. And that's also, I guess, a bit different, but also having different motivations for improving yourself. Some people try to improve themselves so that they can look a certain way, or others can have a certain perception about themselves. Um, I think those might be related to much deeper issues or much deeper problems that I unfortunately am not qualified to know about. But there are a lot of mental health professionals or therapists who um, who can support people who might need reframing about their their own perception of themselves, whether it's quite a narcissistic view where they see themselves so highly and so excellent, or maybe in a more um, not so kind view where they just tend to put themselves down and they're trying to look for validation and compliments and external rewards and significance all the time. Yeah, I don't know. I think it really is feedback. And going back to that to that four pillars, learning how to live together. If you learn how to live together, if you learn how to gather feedback, if you learn how to um, work with other people, you will eventually know whether you're good or not good at things. And yeah.
So yung next kong question is, since you already talked a bit about motivation,
Yeah.
diba? Kasi dito sa atin, hindi naman lahat, pero a lot of the motivation comes from when they take continuing professional development, dahil sa yung credits or yung
Yes.
points, and then they get those points, they get promoted,
Yeah.
ganyan. So paano natin, parang how do we, kasi valid din naman siya na
Yes.
motivation, I think.
Yes.
But my question lang, I think, is how do we parang balance it with intrinsic motivation? Or how do we tap into?
Intrinsic motivation. I will share how I see it as a learning designer, or as a educator who teaches other teachers. Um, I think to tap into the intrinsic motivation of teachers so that they can develop better, we have to have a more nuanced understanding of their day-to-day lives and the types of choices and the types of problems that they go through at work. I think that's one classic adult learning dilemma is some people will tend to do incentivized learning experiences through certificates and points and promotion. But another side of it is you have these what we call micro learning opportunities. And these are learning opportunities that are embedded within the context of a task. So for example, if a teacher is having a hard time checking 500 papers at once or computing their grades, maybe that was the perfect time for a teacher to know how to use spreadsheets and how to use formulas. And so they either go on a website, they watch a video tutorial, or they ask another peer to help them coach through it. Whatever the modality is, that's still professional development. That's still learning. And so that's one way of how you can design better professional development experiences for teachers is to make those find those learning opportunities, find those opportunities where they will need help. They need to ask a question, they need to learn this new skill, and make it as accessible to them as possible. Yeah, so that's one. Another way to do it is on the flip side, if you are doing formal programs and you want to tap into their intrinsic motivation, then what we would do is helping them frame the whole experience at the beginning. If they're going to do a 3-day master class on certain topic, let's say using the learning management system, instead of just teaching all participants in the same way, it's also helping the teachers find their agency or channel their agency, set goals for themselves, ask them to connect connect the topic to actual tasks that they will do, have them visualize how will they apply the learnings the next day, somewhat in a more immediate manner, but also in a long-term way. And I think when teachers know what this is for, even though they might not use it tomorrow, it will have a better chance for them to access it again, or for them to recall that piece of information or that skill, because it already had, I guess, a much more deeper connection to a daily thing that they have. That makes sense. So it's helping them set the learning goals and helping them frame the whole experience to connect it to a personal goal that they have at the beginning. So that's why I'm a big fan of goal setting exercises at the beginning. So even though it's a one-size-fits-all course, maybe it's even a MOOC, or what if it's a massive webinar? If you ask the teachers at the beginning, make them more aware of how they might be able to use this, there's a better chance that they will be able to recall it and access it at a later time, or maybe relearn the concept at a faster rate, because they will use it in a situation. So it's always about that. I think as adults, because we've already had prior experiences, it's hard for us to learn new things just for the sake of learning new things. Sometimes we always want a purpose. What is this for? What will this make me do? What can I do with this after? But there's another school of thought that teachers can also develop their playfulness back, or can develop having that beginner's mindset again. Eventually, some people who are very, what we call highly motivated learners, or highly enjoyable learners who try to absorb everything. They enjoy new things. Novelty also works for them. So it's always about knowing who your target learners are, knowing the context of the skill, and knowing how to connect it to motivations. Yeah.
Actually, wala na akong
Nice.
further questions dun sa list. Hindi naman natin siya sinunod na
Yeah. Oo,
magkaka...
pero parang nabanggit din naman yung
Oo,
bawang questions.
Na-cover naman natin lahat. So siguro, last na lang. Ito tinatanong namin sa lahat ng speaker. Ano yung one piece of advice that you could give teachers about anything? Kahit ano. But just one. Can be about anything. Any topic, any subject.
Okay. Sige. I will go back to my usual. Sige. Yeah, so I guess within the context of the pandemic, or within the context of using technology, it's always easy to focus on the technology and not on the people. And I think as teachers, it is our responsibility to keep the learning experience as human as possible. That's why technology will not replace teachers. That's why computers will not replace teachers. And I think it's just that at the end of the day, you're a human being, you're a person. your students are human beings. They're not rectangles on a screen. They're not cells on a table. They're not just names and numbers. They are humans also at the other side of that screen or at the other side of that device. And I think if you just keep on remembering that, it might lead you to certain discoveries, or it might lead you to certain ways of how you can become a better teacher. Yun.
Thank
Pwede
you.
ba?
May ano kayo?
Meron ba kayong follow?
Akal doon, follow up.
Actually, yung itatanong ko regarding
Sige, go.
humanist. Hindi, nasagot.
Ay,
Ah,
sagot
okay.
ba? Ano ba yung tanong ko?
About humanist in professional development.
Yeah.
It turns out, kasi na-mention niya kanina.
Yeah. Favorite ko yung sabihin kasi kapag maraming teachers, diba, nasa-stress sila with technology. So, pag nakakalimutan nila, tao rin naman sila, nagkakamali din sila. Okay lang naman na magkamali ka in front of camera, hindi naman to... Yun, narealize, oo nga naman, kung magkamali lang ako, edi... So, always fear nila ng teachers yun, diba? Bago sila humarap sa camera, hello, mag-ano ako. Grabe pa sila mag-makeup. Lalo na public school teachers sa DepEd, diba? Grabe sila yung self-presentation talaga and yung dignity or ano, ibang-iba yung ano nila. Pero, tao rin naman, parang tao lang kayo.
Naalala ko yung sabi ni Teacher Annie kasi tinanong din namin siya ng ano, parang ano sa tingin mo yung competency na kailangan ng teacher niya. Tapos nag-joke lang siya, sabi niya beauty. Beauty kasi harap ka sa camera.
Teacher Annie. Na-video ba yun? Pang blackmail, joke lang.
Rolling camera.
Yeah. Nice. Yay!
Thank you so much.
Thank you.